What we've done at YTL Communications is that we built from ground up a converged 4G network that's not only able to deliver superior data quality and speed, but also allow for telco-grade telephony services to run on our network. As you well know, we have this 018 mobile number assignment from the Malaysian government. So what it means is that we are able to provide Tier 1 telephony services on our network natively on our 4G network. No one else in this world is able to launch telephony over 4G, still today. So we are the first and still the only converged 4G network for that. What it means is that that's a big deal. As a practical matter, if you travel out of Malaysia, I have to continue to make sure that this phone is useful to you, right? I can't sell you a phone that say that, sir, use this phone only when you're in Malaysia. The moment you leave Malaysia, you buy yourself another phone. So why we've designed this phone to have a GSM SIM card, for one reason, is that we do realize that our customers will travel outside Malaysia. When they travel outside Malaysia, or even when they're in Malaysia, whereby they travel outside of our coverage, our ever-expanding coverage, we still have some areas that we don't have full coverage, right? They can always fall back to the SIM card. Now, in Malaysia, the mobile penetration is over 100%, which means that your readers, our customers, they already have an existing SIM card. So what we tell them is that, friends, no issues. You have no loss of security. Because if you look at a typical buyer, before they talk about the fancy features of a new phone, the first thing that they will ask is that, will I have any loss? Will I lose anything by switching to your phone? What we can say with full confidence to our customers is that, sir or ma'am, you will have no loss of anything because you bring the SIM card along with you and plug it into this phone. The existing number that you've been using all these years will continue to work. And the reason that our phone is so cool, and I'm quite proud of what our team has done, is that with this phone, we built the dialer from ground up. This dialer is not available in any other Android phone in this world. We built this dialer from ground up to allow for 4G telephony and GSM telephony to coexist. With a simple flick of a button, you can switch between the 4G network and the GSM network as an outbound call. But at any given time, both lines are active on this phone, which means that if people call you on your 018 number, this phone will ring. People call you on your GSM number, this phone will ring. You don't have to do anything. Both lines are active. What we've done with our Eclipse is that we look at the Android code base. We look at 2.2 as a stable code base for us to do our own development. We remove the things that we don't need, and we add a whole bunch of new stuff to that code base. That's how Eclipse came about. Eclipse is not another Android 2.2 phone. Eclipse is not an Android 2.3 phone. Or for that matter, what Eclipse has in terms of advanced telephony that I explained to you, the two-line capability, and a few other key important features that is important to customers, such as having the superior data speed. For that kind of superior data speed, it takes a lot of engineering work. It's not just hardware work, but also software work. So our Eclipse is fully optimized to run on our network to take full advantage of the superior speed of the Yes4G network and the telephony capability. In addition to that, we also rewrote the entire power management module. So if you look at any smart devices, the single most important factor beyond functionality is whether the device will last a whole day. Increasingly, as devices are getting smarter and smarter, the battery life is going down the wrong direction. Because the smarter the device, the more power consumption, the lower the useful life. With our Eclipse, we know if I want to support the GSM SIM card, if I still want to run the 4G network with the superior data speed, all these are things that consume power. So what we've done from an engineering standpoint is that we said we can't just use the native power management capability in Android and still maintain the useful life of a multi-line phone that runs on two different networks simultaneously. So we said, okay, we have to re-engineer the power management capability. So with Eclipse, we've also redone, for the most part, the entire power management module within Android. And we add on power management for WiMAX, which is our 4G network, and our 4G telephony capability, so that the device, for the engineers out there, can go to a sleep mode. But sleep not deep enough that it cannot be woken up by the network to answer a phone call. I challenge anyone that's listening out there to find an Android 4.0 device, an Android 4.1 device that can do the thing I just talked about. There isn't such an equivalent globally. And that's why I have all this gray hair. Because all this requires a lot of engineering work, very top engineering work with original patents that we've filed. And I think as Malaysians, we should be quite proud that we produce the world's most advanced converged 4G phone right here in Malaysia. This is designed by Malaysians, engineered by Malaysians, and of course built by some of the best world-class factory out there. So this project, because of the complexity of this project, just the development alone has taken about 18 months. So 18 months ago, the most stable code base was 2.2, right? I mean, if we were to gut out a lot of the native source code within Android and replace that with new capability that I just talked about, you must do that on a stable base. You cannot do it on a moving base. If you do it on a moving base, then all the code on top will not be stable, right? Basic software engineering. So 18 months ago, the most stable base there is was Android. 2.3 at that point is still not stable, not ready. Now, having said that, just to give you and your readers the assurance, or your viewers the assurance, 2.2 and 2.3, there are 4 major differences. First, the icons are slightly different in the system menu. All right, that one is the menu, look and feel. All right. Second is that 2.3 has power management enhancement. I just told you that we have totally revamped the entire power management module. In fact, our power management is superior to any Android code base out there because of the complexity of having multiple radios. Third, 2.3 also introduced the ability to do SIP calling. All right, so 2.3 can actually make SIP calls. Well, I'm pleased to say that our IMS or our IP telephony capability far exceed any other simplistic SIP implementation out there. We have ability to do up to 4-way video conference. Now you find me a SIP client out in the whole world that can do 4-way video conference on a mobile device. It doesn't exist. So what the native Android 2.3 gives you in terms of SIP calling, we far exceed with our advanced converged telephony capability on the Yes 4G network. And last but not least, with Android 2.3, you also have some cut and paste capability, right? That is improved upon. Now this is, how often do you use cut and paste anyways? I mean, Android 2.2 cut and paste also work reasonably well. I use that all the time. So in final analysis, the difference between 2.2 and 2.3 is not that we are not building yet another Android phone. We're using Android to build the world's most advanced converged 4G smartphone. And we'll continue to give you new features and capability to allow you to enjoy that, while at the same time giving you and your viewers the ability to continue to use all the cool apps available in the Android marketplace, which is, at the end of the day, what truly matters. Now, to answer your question, what other phones can we support? We have this over-the-top application called Yes Live. Yes Live is in the Apple App Store. Yes Live is also on the Android Play Store. So what it means is that if you have an iPhone, an iPad, or even an iPod Touch, or any of the Android phones or tablets out there, you download Yes Live, you enter in the Yes ID, immediately that phone becomes a second line for you. That you can tap into the superior rate that we offer you to call anyone in Malaysia or anywhere in the world at superior rates. What is really, really cool is that our Yes Live runs on any data line. So what that means is that if you have your iPad, if you are using your Wi-Fi connection when you're traveling in, let's say, America or in Japan, immediately you can use that phone to call to Malaysia as if this is a local number. And people in Malaysia can call you and your iPad is going to ring and you answer as if this is a local call. So we give our customers so many ways to use our service, far beyond the boundaries of Malaysia. If you have our Yes Live application on iOS, on Android, or even PC and Mac, immediately you have our telephony service anywhere in the world. You find a Wi-Fi line, you find a 3G line, or even a 2G line, because for us to make phone calls, we have optimized our codec on our application that so long you have a 30K stable connection, which even a 2G network can offer a 30K stable connection, then you can make phone calls, or even better, SMS. No matter the network speed, SMS is going to fly. We are the fastest and largest mobile internet in this country. Why is it so important? Number one, if you look at where we were when we launched our network 18 months ago, we had about 60% of the country's population coverage. With 60% of the national coverage, it took about 1,200 base stations, right? That was 18 months ago. Now, 18 months later, I'm pleased to report to you and to your viewers that we have now gone beyond 2,400 base stations. What it means is that we have doubled the size of our network in merely 18 months' time. Now, this is the first time in Malaysian history that a single operator has doubled its size in merely 18 months. And we are committed to continue to expand our network, to go way beyond 2,400 base stations, to further drive coverage penetration throughout the country. With our current coverage penetration, we have the entire West Coast, the entire East Coast, and all the and most of the trunk roads and highways linking back between East Coast and West Coast. So we, for the most part, already have the entire peninsula covered. We are also going into East Malaysia towards the latter part of this year. What that means is that once we go into East Malaysia, our combined footprint will make us the single largest high-speed mobile internet network in this country. One thing that your readers should know is that even if they were to buy from the existing competitors of ours, whether it's the green color operator, the blue color operator, or the yellow color operator, they have to realize that they don't get the same network speed consistently across the country. There is such a thing as a 2G network. There is such a thing as an Edge, GPRS, HSPA, or WCDMA. So all this jargon aside, what that means to the viewers, to your customers out there, is that just because they have access to someone's network doesn't mean that they will get the same speed all the time. In fact, for the most part, if you travel out of the big cities such as KL, Klang Valley, the speed will quickly go down because they don't have the same 3G capability in many other parts of the country. They may just have a GPRS network or an Edge network. So when you're running your mobile internet on GPRS or Edge, you know full well, and your readers know full well, they're not going to get the same speed for sure. And the experience is drastically going to reduce.